Recently, a viewer asked me, what are 3 things that I feel like I've learned just by being a truck driver that also have the potential to help me out in my own personal life? And I've thought a lot about that, and I want to discuss that in this video. So I believe that just by being in the trucking profession, just by being a truck driver, there's going to be certain things that you're going to have to pick up on. And you're likely to notice that after you pick up on these things that you need to be doing and learning in trucking, they have the potential, or some of the things have the potential to help you out in your own personal life. The first thing I feel that I've learned or had to get better at as a result of being a truck driver, that now it helps me out in my personal life, is trip planning. Accounting for everything that could potentially stop you or stall you in delivering your freight from point A to point B. Trip planning is something that anybody in the freight delivery profession has to become efficient at. If you're not efficient at planning out your trip and accounting for everything that could come up, it's absolutely gonna cost you money. And it doesn't matter whether you're an over-the-road truck driver, whether you're getting home every night, you're local, whether you are a box truck, whether you're UPS, or whether you're DoorDash. My daughter does DoorDash, and she still has to account for anything that could stop her from being able to drop off her freight in a timely fashion. Now, what I found in my own life is that over the years, obviously, I've gotten more proficient at trip planning. And so that means I have to be thinking ahead. Because I do that so much when it comes to the truck, I also do it in my personal life. I think ahead on a lot of things. And I found that not whenever, but a lot of the times when I'm engaging with individuals that are not truck drivers, I'm finding out that they're not as forward thinking as I am. And I totally attribute that to having to be forward thinking out on the truck. So that's one thing that I feel that anybody that comes in transportation, that stays in long enough, you're gonna get effective at planning out your trip because that's your money. And you're gonna find that as you get effective at planning out your trip, it can actually potentially help you get more effective at planning out your future. Another thing that I believe learning in trucking has helped me with in my personal life is the idea of finishing one thing before I start something else. I've had situations where I'm working on my truck, or maybe I got 2 or 3 things to do. I got a couple of things to do, and before I finish one thing, I'll start something else. I pull a tool out to work on the first thing. I don't finish it. The tool is still laying there. The next thing I need to work on is right there, and because it's right there, I start engaging with that. And at the end of the day, or in a few hours, what happens is I end up having several things that I've started that I haven't finished. Or in some cases, what happens is I think I'm done and I realize I've left out a part or I've left a tool out somewhere. I've had that happen several times. And so because I've had that happen so many times, now I realize on the truck, because it'll cost you money if you're not finishing one thing before you start something else. So because I do that so much on the truck, I've developed that habit so much on the truck, that's something that spills over to my personal life. And my wife gets on me about it a lot of the times. There's so many situations where we could be doing something and I'm working on one thing and the next thing that needs to be worked on, it's right there. And so she's like, well, why don't you go ahead and start on that next thing? And I'm like, babe, I'm not finished this one thing. And she's like, yeah, but the next thing that you need to get on is right there. Why don't you go ahead and do that? I'm like, babe, my mind don't work that way. I can't do that. At the end of the day, I'll end up with a bunch of projects that I started and didn't finish. Or I'll end up with a bunch of tools laying out all over the place and I'm thinking that I'm done. So I like to finish one thing before I start. I feel like that's something that prevents careless mistakes. And one more thing I feel like as a truck driver, I've had to learn that also helps me deal with life in general better is the idea of a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Something you probably heard your whole life. Here's a popular story in trucking that will illustrate the point that I want to make about this. So truck drivers will hear about a better opportunity somewhere or better pay somewhere or a better job or whatever. And a lot of the times we'll go chasing that waterfall. We will have an opportunity in our hand. We'll have a bird in our hand and we'll drop it right there going to pursue the 2 that we think is in the bush. And sometimes they're out there. I'm not trying to get people to not go and pursue opportunity. I'm just saying that sometimes when you are out there looking for those 2 birds in the bush, you're gonna realize after you've dropped your bird that the 2 that you thought out there were out there aren't out there. Or they're a lot smaller than you thought they were. The point is, A lot of times in trucking, we will have something worth having, but because we don't know that, because we don't know the value of the bird that we got in our hand, we'll expend a lot of our energy going to look for the proverbial two that are out in the bush. And sometimes we'll find them, but a lot of times we won't. And again, don't get what I'm saying twisted. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and pursue opportunity. I'm just saying understand what you have. It's a wise man that understands the opportunity that he has. We can all look back and say, man, I had it good then, after the fact. But it's a wise man that can be in the moment of an opportunity and say, you know what? I'm good where I am. I like the opportunity that I have. I'm done looking out there for things that I already have. So a lot of the stuff that we waste our time pursuing is fake, especially in this internet world. And again, it's a wise man that can realize the benefit in what he already has. So a bird in the hand, a lot of the cases, is definitely worth more than two in the bush. So those are three things that I feel like as a result of having to deal with better in trucking, it's helped me do better in life overall. And those are just three things. I feel like as a truck driver, there's a lot of things that you're going to learn just by being in the profession that is going to give you a leg up in your personal life. Thanks for watching this video, and do me a favor, let me know down in the comments, what are some things that you believe that as a result of being a trucker, you've had to learn that have also helped you out in your personal life? Let me know down in the comments.